Hello, and welcome to part 2 of our music theory videos. In this section, I will be talking about everything timing related in music, the beat, the rhythm, and different note values. If you missed part 1, please go and watch that, as that gives an in-depth explanation of notes, scales, clefs, and how to read music. We will start with the beat, a simple but important part of every music piece. The beat lays a foundation down for both the speed of the piece and the rhythm, which we get into later. It is a constant tempo, as we say in music, that fits into a certain amount of time. And it sounds like this. But to understand a little bit more about how the beat works, we have to first learn about the measure. A measure is like a little section of music where only a certain amount of beats can fit into it. For simplicity, we are going to start with common time, which is found in most musical pieces. Common time is also referred to as 4/4, meaning that there are 4 beats that can fill up the whole measure. If we listen to this metronome, you can hear that after every 4 beats, the first beat has a little click to it, and it sounds different. This indicates that we are in 4/4 time, because there are 4 beats per measure, and the first beat has an extra little clicking sound to it. So, these beats are called quarter note beats. But why are they called quarter notes? Well, if we think about it, if we have one measure and we're in 4/4 time, that means we have 4 beats. So each of those beats has to be 1/4 of the whole. Another common time signature is called 3/4, which means that in each measure, we only have 3 beats make up the whole. That means that each beat makes up, you guessed it, 1/3 of the whole measure. And this is where our note values come in. In music, we read measures left to right, like books, by first looking at our time signature, 3/4, 4/4, or in some more complicated pieces, other wacky time signatures. We then look at the tempo of the piece, or how fast it is, which is determined by something called beats per minute. You can use a metronome when starting out on any instrument to lay down a steady beat at a tempo that you want. For example, here we have a tempo at 100 beats per minute. If we were playing something faster, we could bring it all the way up to, say, 200 beats per minute. But if we were just starting out and we were practicing a piece and learning it, we would probably want to bring it down to something about 70, which is a nice slow practice speed. Finally, we read our notes, and here's where the rhythm comes in. So let's say we are playing something in 4/4. Let's use Twinkle Twinkle Little Star as an example. Here's the time signature, which is 4/4, and here's the treble clef, meaning we are playing in a middle C and above, around that area. So the most standard rhythm that we could play would be to fill the measure with 4 quarter notes. Here we have 4 quarter notes. So if we were to put our metronome on, and we were to play this, it would sound like this. As you can see, each quarter note actually takes up 1 beat of a 4-beat measure. However, there are plenty of other ways to fill a measure in music. Some other common note types are half notes. There's a half note scheme right here and right here, which means that they are filled for half of the measure. Here we have 2 quarter notes, and a quarter plus a quarter is a half, and then we have a half note, so that fills the measure perfectly. There are also some other types of notes called the whole note, which you would hold for all 4 beats of the measure. A dotted half note, so if there was a dot in front of this, it would be a dotted half note, which you would hold for 3 out of the 4 beats, or even an eighth note, meaning that you could technically have 8 eighth notes in one whole measure. Finally, in every good piece of music, you have rests. Rests are part of the whole rhythm of the piece, but instead of playing a note, you play a rest, meaning you don't actually play at all. Here's an example of what this would look like. So I'm going to play the normal Twinkle 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 Little Star without any rests. Now let's say that we wanted to take out this note for whatever reason. We would simply play a rest, meaning we don't play at all. Rest. That's it on the theory videos. Here's a practice sheet for rhythms and note values that you can use to help. And in addition, at the bottom is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star that you can use to practice. Remember, music theory is a foundation for all music, and while I demonstrated it on the piano, you can use it on any of your instruments. If you have any questions, please contact csa.positivenotes@gmail.com. Thank you very much.